Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I'm Ryan Boland. Thank you all for joining me. What I want to talk about in this video is the release of female basketball player Britney Griner from the Russian prison. And I'm pretty sure you've all probably already heard about this. You probably seen it on the news, mainstream news. You may have watched other YouTube channels in dealing with her release by the Biden administration. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read this article from Breitbart News because there's a lot of good details there. And as I was reading this article, the thoughts formulated in my mind was the way I see it, an unfair exchange. So we're going to get right into this article, and then I'm going to give you my opinion of whether or not this was justified, whether or not it was right. Okay, so let's get right into this article. It says former WNBA star Britney Griner was reportedly released by Russia in a prisoner swap for a notorious Russian arms dealer, Viktor Bout, according to a U.S. official. In February, Griner, a two-time Olympic basketball champion, was arrested by Russia and pleaded guilty to possession of cannabis vape cartridges at an airport near Moscow. Possessing 7 grams or more carries criminal penalties in Russia. Those can include up to 2 years of, quote, corrective labor. Yet Griner was charged with smuggling cannabis into Russia, which holds a prison sentence of 5 to 10 years. Griner was sentenced to 9 years. In order to obtain Griner's release, President Joe Biden authorized Bout to be released from prison and returned him to Russia. Bout will escape 25 years of federal prison time. Bout has served just half the time in prison he received in 2011. Since Thursday, the prisoner swap has reportedly been negotiated. Moments ago, I spoke to Britney Griner. She is safe. She is on a plane. She was on her way home. It's amazing, man. It's amazing how these people do this type of stuff, man. Amazing how these politicians are. But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. Let's go on and continue with this article, man. This is just crazy. So it goes on to say, rumored as a potential prisoner worth exchanging in August, critics of the deal said Bout should remain behind bars because he is one of the most dangerous criminals in the world. Breitbart News reported on Bout's history. Nicknamed, and they omitted something of death. They didn't name what it was, but Bout is a flamboyant arms dealer in his mid-50s with Russian military training. He has become a billionaire by raiding the armories of the collapsing Soviet Union in the early 90s and using old Soviet cargo planes to transport his black market weapons to conflict zones around the world. Now, here's something I wanted to look at here, because I'm going to skip some of this other stuff. You guys can read the rest of this article on your own free time if you want in the description box. But here's a section that I wanted to read, and then I'm going to give you my commentary on this. It says, the prisoner swap notably left behind Paul Whelan, an American and former Marine jailed in Russia for nearly 2 years under, quote, espionage charges in 2018. Whelan's total sentence is 16 years. Amazing. Critics have slammed the Biden administration, of course, for allowing an American veteran to remain in prison in Russia while a famous basketball star was freed in the prisoner swap. When CBS News asked Secretary of State Antony Blinken on Sunday if U.S. negotiators were, quote, actively engaged in swapping for both Whelan and Griner, Blinken brushed off the possibility, but stated he was still trying to bring Griner home. The other side gets a vote in this. It's not just what we want. It's what they're prepared to do, Blinken said, whatever the heck that's supposed to mean. One way or another, one day or another, we're going to see that through, he added about Whelan. And that's the end of the article right there. But you know what, man? It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I did a video on Griner some months ago about her apparent arrest and so forth. Now, I want to start off right off the front with this, and that is, number one, in all fairness, when it comes down to these celebrities, being released out of prison in foreign countries. Trump did the same thing. I cannot remember the name of the rap artist that he released. He released out of got released out of a prison some months ago. This was like during Trump's last few months of his term. He had this rapper released. Now, that's not what I want to focus on, though. What I want to focus on is what I believe is the funkiest kind of attitude that and I want to get this video taken down. The funkiest kind of attitude, for lack of a better word, that the American government has towards our military. It seems evident to me that they would rather release a celebrity over someone, as the article goes on to say, but I'm going to elaborate on that, over someone that served his country and would more than likely be willing to die for this country. Now, the article doesn't say whether or not this individual veteran, this individual Marine fought in a war or any of that, but he's a Marine. Okay, he's a Marine. He's in the U.S. military. And in my opinion, he should have been given first dibs. But because of this celebrity status nonsense, celebrities gets the first dib and they're released first. Now, let me say something about Griner. It's interesting to me because here's a woman, and I'm not saying this because she's gay. I could care less about that. What bothers me is the fact of her negative attitude about America. From what I understand, she spoke negatively about America prior to her arrest. I think she took a knee to the flag or whatever and did some other things and said some other things about America that were negative. She basically had disdain for America. You know, and clearly she didn't have a positive mindset. And yet at the same time, the Biden administration and I know the Biden administration is aware of that, and I know Biden is aware of that. At the same time, you're willing to leave behind a man that basically went through boot camp. Basically, I'm pretty sure he went through all of this type of stuff because he loves his country. Now, maybe he may have made some bad choices. Clearly, he made some bad choices, else he wouldn't be in prison. But the point is that, as far as I'm concerned, he should get first dibs. It sickens me when I see our American military being treated with such disdain. But then again, I'm not surprised because from day one, the Biden administration, the way I have seen it, has not had a positive view of the American military. Now, you may be asking, what do I mean by that? I can go all day over there. I'm not. Look at my former videos, things that he have said. But the thing that bothers me about the Biden administration and their disdain of the American military is all this woke stuff that they're trying to push on the soldiers and push on the Marines and so forth. And I'm not going to say too much stuff because this video might get deleted. It might get taken down, but I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Okay. Some people did not want that. You know what? Some of the military men did not want that. You know what? That was being forced on them. And this was by the Biden administration. Then they're pushing all this transgender and gay stuff in the military, trying to say, all this kind of stuff. Since the Biden administration has been in operation, our military has been weakened. While other foreign countries are building up their military, we're basically a mockery. And at the same time, when it comes time to release someone, you release an individual that have shown disdain for this country over someone who served in the military. That to me is disgusting. That's what I wanted to say on it. This is an unfair exchange the way I see it. Never mind what the critics have said. The critics have said they disagree with this too. But it don't matter because the Biden administration, none of these people are going to listen. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter with them. They don't care if they get negative criticism anyway. He's in office. He doesn't care. He'll be in office until the day his term is up, or until the day he pass on, or whatever the case may be. And I'm not wishing ill will on him, so don't misread this. But the man's up there, and he's not cognitively where he needs to be, so anything could happen. That he don't care about that. He can say and do what he want to do just about. He don't care about the critics and what they're saying about the fact that this is an unfair exchange. He doesn't care about that. Now, looking at it from a monetary point of view, okay, yeah, you can look at it monetarily, where they're releasing these individual celebrities because these celebrities make money. But from what I understand with women's basketball don't make a lot of money. Very few people watch women's basketball. I don't watch women's basketball, and I don't got no problem with it, but I don't watch it. It's not that interesting to me, okay? I don't hardly watch men basketball. What makes you think I'm going to watch women's basketball? They don't care about that, but I'm just trying to show you a point. I'm just one of many people. The point is that it doesn't make that much money. It's not all that popular, okay? And yet, so it's not so much a money thing with her. So the question is, why did he release her and not release this Marine? He could have exchanged with the Marine instead with her. Why is that? Why did he make that exchange with her? Was it because she's gay and she's a part of the left? Is that it? Now, one could say, okay, yeah, but when Trump released that rapper, was that rapper a part of was he conservative? I highly doubt it. I don't know too many rappers that are actually conservative except maybe Kanye West. And I don't know what, and his conservatism is speculative. I don't know, because a lot of the things he say, I don't agree with. Some things I agree with, some things that he says I don't agree with, because he's up and down all the time. I think he's a mind control victim, but that's another story and that's another video. And I probably would never do a video on that because that'll get taken down. That's what I believe about him. So he's up and down. I don't think half the time he knows what he's saying. But for the most part, there aren't too many conservative rappers out there. Some of them seem to be leaning more to the left. And yet Trump had this person released, assuming that this rapper was more liberal. Trump had him released. So was that the reason why the Biden administration had Britney Griner released? Because she was representing the left? If that's the case, that's an illegitimate reason. That's a goofy reason, illegitimate reason to have her released at the expense of a Marine. It bothers me the way our soldiers and our military are treated in this country. And that has bothered me for many years. I've been aggravated about that for many years. I always felt like then, like I do now, that the military, our soldiers, should get first dibs on everything. They should get first dibs because they're out there risking their life. When it comes time for war, they get called where they go. Except for a few that say, I don't believe in it. They may go for you to Canada or whatever. But for the most part, the soldiers, they go. And they risk their lives for the freedoms of us as Americans. They risk their lives. Whether the wars are justified or not, that's not the point. The point is that they're risking their lives. And yet they get the last dibs for everything, it seems like. And I get so sick and tired of being downtown, doing my job, and seeing veterans and so forth homeless. That ought not be. And I'm not saying that these veterans didn't cause this situation themselves, but a lot of these veterans, let's be realistic, come back from the war, they messed up psychologically and a lot of other things, and they don't get the service that they should get from the American military. They don't. That's something that needs to be. If I was ever a president, that would be one of my number one things, would be to take care of our soldiers, to take care of our military, because they risk their lives as law enforcement officers do. But, they don't care. They don't care. All they care about is a political agenda. So I think that this is an unfair exchange. You exchange someone who basically has disdain for this country for a Marine. You leave him behind. Okay? You leave him behind and you bring her in. I don't think it's fair. I think it's wrong. That's my thought on it. But they don't care about that. Biden administration doesn't care about that. What do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe to this channel. God bless you all, and see you again.